Welcome back to the Messy RealiTea Breakdown with your host, Ray.
And your girl, Lily.
This is the podcast where we break down our favorite reality shows in the name of fun, shade, and a splash, baby, of messiness. How you doing, Ray?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great. So listen, I just want to jump right into this. Of course, you know we've been covering Real Housewives of Potomac. This is the first time that Ray and I have covered a reality show while it's actually live on air. So we're trying to go ahead and record, like a little after parties after the show is aired.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to do something a little bit differently. Tell us, what's the name of this episode?
So the name of this episode we're on episode 5. It's called Pie in the Austin Sky.
Yes, and we're in season 8, and usually we break it down the episodes first, but I want to kind of get into it, and it's based off of what we saw tonight. So Wendy, Dr. Wendy, to you, darling, she's done a lot of posts, and I want to talk about the posts first, and we'll break down the episode later, okay? So as you all know, there's beef between her and Nneka. There's a lot of he said, she said. That's not really a spoiler alert because they talked about that since the beginning of this season. So I'm going to get started. It says, sigh, I have really been minding my business this season and not reacting / tweeting about Real Housewives of Potomac, but this narrative is getting malicious. You say you don't know me, but a year and a half ago, before we started filming, you kept pressing Lebby, maybe, to ask me to have dinner with you. So, of course, this is Wendy, and this is the screenshot. It says, hey, love. Hi, love. How are you? I'm good, darling. How does your schedule look? I'd love to get together for brunch or dinner. My in-law just moved here from LA, and Bravo's production team has approached her about coming onto a show. Hey, twin, my schedule is nutty. Just let me know some days when you're available. So that's between Wendy and I guess the sister or cousin-in-law or sister-in-law to Nneka. So then Wendy tweets, you say you don't know me, but in this episode, you talk about my daughter's Sip and See from 2019, an event that happened 4 years before you joined the show. So tell me, my love, how do you know the details from the party if you don't know who threw the party? And then she says, well, these are pictures from the Sip and See, and you guys can go to Wendy's Twitter page. It's at Wendy Osefo, and she says, it's a retweet of something that says, child, not him liking the Sip and See pictures, been unliking them, been fan since the beginning. So someone, Melanated Loner Boy, had tweeted that he found it interesting that Nneka's husband had liked the photos from the Sip and See back in 2020, and looks like he's unliked them. And it says it seems weird to do that, but then again, it could be nothing. So there's like a few photos where he'd liked it. And then, let's see. Then Wendy says, after the drama at Ashley's event, I came up to you and gave you my number because I felt like they were trying to put us together. And you could have called or texted me if you really had an issue. But you went to lunch with Robyn instead and decided to gossip. And so, yeah. I don't know. And then I'm going again. And she says, and this is in relation to tonight's show. Because again, Nneka and Wendy are having debates about why they have beef with each other. And so Nneka's side of the story, Wendy is saying, yes, my sister and your cousin-in-law did have a falling out. One of many reasons being Lebby, I guess, was name dropping me, calling her cousin to get a BBL. The whole squad. Like, I'm not even going to continue to go into it, but just know that, well, actually, that's like the last tweet. And she's also claiming that there are bots out there who are attacking her children's social media pages and harming them, and just saying threats against her family and stuff. So I just wanted to kind of give y'all background about the tweets that she said, because, some people have regrets and they delete them immediately. But let's go ahead and get into tonight's episode, okay? Tell us, how does the show start?
Yeah, so like you said, there's a lot going on, but we're going to start in the beginning. So it starts with Ashley, Mia, and Giselle meeting up at a boutique. They're going shopping, and they're shopping because Ashley is inviting the ladies to a trip to Austin, Texas. I'm just going to also comment. I'm really tired of these college / young adult ass trips. Like, again, I have a friend that lives in Austin, so there's no shade, but it's like, I'm not really expecting housewives to go to Austin, Texas for like a trip. I'm not.
No, genuinely, you and I talked about it, how we saw people tweeting about when they think of housewife shows, they think of things that are not attainable. They don't want the people to be relatable as far as lifestyle.
Yeah,
we're used to the trips to Greece, the trips to where did did they go to Africa?
Yeah, South Africa, or trips to the Philippines, places
Not
that
Austin,
we
Texas.
really, most people can't really go to.
Yeah.
Let's just be honest,
Yeah, Austin, Texas definitely is not on the luxury lifestyle card.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, so that's what they're excited about. So they're going shopping. And Giselle brings up what did you think about, Nneka and Wendy in the situation in terms of the shrine issue and stuff like that. Giselle says that she believes Nneka. She says in her words that she doesn't believe Nneka would bring up a lie like this to the group. Okay, Giselle. That was very ironic coming from her. Very hypocritical coming from her. And then Ashley, who I'm really bothered at, again, because this all started with her. She says in her I do believe there is some truth to what Nneka said, because she just said it with so much conviction. I believe she just wouldn't lie like that. And you're the same one who brought your friend Deborah to the group last season to lie on Chris and Eddie.
Yeah.
So it's just these women are just so foul to me.
The show is unbearable to watch. Let's just keep it real. Even as you go through Twitter, I'm not seeing people enjoying the show. And what's kind of funny is, I believe you, Ray, because maybe the first or second episode of this season, you said you feel like this was a setup. And the more and more that I think about the breakdown of this show, I think about the fact that Ashley intentionally told the story wrong to get Wendy to see Nneka as an enemy. Because Nneka was already fired up.
Yeah.
But continue.
So then we go to see Wendy and Eddie. They go out for lunch, and they also talk about the shrine issue. And they basically just say it's ridiculous and it's not even that big of a deal. It's not even what is being said is really not what the truth actually is. Just a long story short, because they were just going back and forth. So then we go back. So they're going back and forth back to the boutique, and they're getting more opinions on the situation. Mia says that, Nneka is smart because she's a lawyer, so she wouldn't lie. Yeah. I just honestly, what Wendy said about Mia last episode or 2 weeks ago, whatever, is legit. Accurate. I'm sorry. It's accurate, because that's just a dumb statement to say. What? And then Giselle talks about too how she told Jamal about the situation, and he told her that it's something very serious, that you shouldn't mess with that. So obviously Giselle believes Nneka because, again, she doesn't like Wendy, so she's gonna really believe anything Nneka says about Wendy because she doesn't like her and she wants her off the show. Ashley again reiterates that she still believes Nneka because of how much she said with passion or whatever. So it's just whatever. And then Wendy and Eddie talk about UMD, University of Maryland, and how they met. I think she said that Wendy and Nneka, they didn't go to school at the same time, right?
Yeah, she said that it's just a huge campus. So, of course that they would probably, I don't know, she still didn't answer it, because I know when they had the confessional, and it was asked once again, did Eddie and Nneka's husband know each other? She didn't say yes or no. She just said they both went to the same college and it's a pretty big campus.
My opinion on it is that they probably did know each other in passing, or they seen each other. You know how you see each other in class or club.
How I met you.
Exactly. We knew we didn't know each other, but we knew each other in terms of I've seen you before and you've seen me.
Well, we didn't know each other. But honestly though, I hate to say it, but I think they're both lying. Because Wendy was trying to make it seem like she didn't have any affiliation. She didn't know Nneka at all. But from reading the tweets that Wendy just posted out of anger, becoming more and more apparent, they did know each other. Because Wendy she let the cat out the bag tonight that her sister was friends with one of Nneka's in-laws. That's the connection between them.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think that Wendy wasn't telling the complete truth, but I think it's not. I think it's for a reason that's not just malicious. So, but that we can talk about that.
Falling out.
Yeah.
I think there was a falling out, and so sometimes when people have falling outs, you hit them with the "I don't know her."
Yeah. So, and
but
again,
why she won't just say that?
I mean, you would think. I mean, that's just like you said, do it like Mariah Carey. I don't know her.
Yeah.
Or whatever. Or what did she used to say, like a person that I don't know or whatever when she would explain it, like try to explain J-Lo.
But I'm saying, to not make you look suspect, just admit that you do know her, but you don't know her. Like, why did it take us 2 or 3 episodes for you to finally say what the association was, what the affiliation is? Like, it shouldn't have taken all of this. But continue.
I mean, that was the end of the scene between, Wendy and Eddie and Ashley, Mia, and Giselle going back and forth about this situation. So do you want to talk about the next scene with Nneka and her husband?
Yeah, so Nneka and her husband, they show up to a doctor's appointment, and Nneka is there for her fertility. And honestly, I'm not gonna lie to y'all, I wrote this down and I can't read my own handwriting, but to go off of memory, they're talking about her getting pregnant and how her family was pressuring her to get pregnant. And she's saying, like, the first part of her marriage, she was just trying to enjoy her marriage. And there's that. So when they get in the room, guess what she and her husband are talking about yet the hell again? The pickleball incident. So they break that down a little bit, and she says that she regrets that she brought up the beef between her and Wendy in front of everybody. She wished that she would have pulled Wendy to the side instead and discussed that. But let's keep it real. Of course you were going to bring it up in front of everybody. It's a show. You're trying to earn your champagne flute, okay?
Yeah.
And so then jumping back into the fertility, because again, I'm sorry, y'all. I'm going to keep it super frank with you. This season is boring. This show is boring. It's playing in my face right now, and I don't want to come off super negative because then I'm kind of feeding into what I'm already receiving when I'm watching the television show, but whatever. But the doctor, I guess, was the doctor Nigerian as well?
Yes, he was a Nigerian. They connected on that for a minute.
Yeah, they had a little connection there. And then he was saying that even though there's a low sperm count, is not enough to affect the fertility, they're fine. And the husband's like, well, I just think that we need to do it more. Like, we're just not doing it enough. And yeah.
So off of the topic of the shrine thing for a minute, I do see her point in terms of, like, when you're getting married and just wanting to spend that quality time together before you jump into having a family, because that is a lot of work to deal with.
I think it's important to see if you like your partner first. Mm-hmm. And know that y'all can really make it through literally whatever, because bringing another life in, like, you need a strong foundation. Mm-hmm. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with having a baby right away. People do it all the time. But I think there's something beautiful about actually enjoying your marriage for a little bit before you bring that child there. Because a lot of times when people have their babies first, like first part of the marriage, then once the kids leave, they're stuck with each other. And they're like, damn, I don't even know you. Like, I feel like I knew you through our children. But to be with you one-on-one, it's like I feel lost in this marriage. I've had a couple of friends this year who had been married for at least a decade before they had their first child this year. And I'm actually really proud of them because they both got to really go travel, you know what I mean? Explore the world together, go out on dates. And now the baby is just kind of like that missing piece of the puzzle. But I know that they actually got a chance to know each other first.
I totally agree. I think that should be the way. I think what is kind of like bothersome, or I guess can be stressful, is the cultural aspect, because I think for a lot of people, they want to uphold cultural things, and there's just so much pressure from other family members to be like, you should do this, you should do that. And I just think it creates so much stress and like annoyance, and it's like you're not really like living for you. You're just you're trying to do it to please family
and keep up with the status quo.
yeah.
My bigger issue too, though, is that women do have fertility issues. Men do
Mm-hmm.
have fertility issues. So it's a little invasive to ask and a little insensitive. And I do think that people really need to be more mindful of minding their own business, because you really don't know what those couples are going through. It could be a painful subject for them. You don't know if they've been going through IVF or failure of IVF. Like, you just don't know. So I really think that you should respect a marriage, even if they don't have a baby right away. Like, that's okay. It's gonna be okay.
Well, speaking of marriage issues, we go to Mia and Gordon, and they are at a marriage therapist, and they're just talking about the things that are going on in their relationship currently, and they talk about, again, the whole financial challenges with the chiropractic place and his brother or family member stealing money and kicking out the board, all that type of stuff. And she says that with this happening, Gordon has had to work more to keep up with the finances, and he doesn't spend much time with her or the children, and just creating a wedge between the two. And she also reveals, too, that she was thinking about possibly filing for a divorce.
Yeah. So you're a gold digger. Continue.
That's what I would say. I feel like in this situation, it's like, I really didn't feel anything, because we know what this marriage is about. Like, it's... Well,
to make matters worse, I feel bad for not necessarily knowing if I can believe this story, because I hesitate to bring it up, but I'm going to bring it up because I thought about it. Huh?
I would just say, bring it up. Let's just talk about it.
So I did zone out on them. I've been zoning out on the show in general, but I did catch that she said something along the lines of, like, maybe there was a lawyer that represented them that was in charge of, like, the sale of their share or something like that. I don't know, above my knowledge when it comes to this type of stuff. But I guess he might have stole the money, and then they reached out to him and they couldn't hear from him, and then they found out he committed suicide. Does this story sound familiar to you?
The Robyn situation, her friend stole their money.
And then, like, she was on the couch crying, and I say that in air quotes because I didn't see a tear. I know, I feel awful, but it's like, who's verifying, who's fact checking these stories? And unfortunately, Mia really is the little girl who cried wolf, because we know that she has a lying problem. We know that she has a very distorted way of telling things to us, and we always catch her in a lie. And I think that it would be disgusting if she would make this up. So I really want to give her the benefit of the doubt, but unfortunately I am a little skeptical. So I feel bad to say it, but I just hope that she's not lying.
She has lied and said, like, exaggerated tales so many times. It's like you said, it's hard to just be like, is she really telling the complete truth? Because even remember the cancer thing. It turns out it really wasn't cancer.
Yeah, she was very Kim Zolciak.
And I'm like, why lie about something like that? Like, it's very serious.
I think about when Robyn told her story, she could barely get through the story. I mean, she was broken the hell down. It was really real for her. And I know everyone processes things differently, but, like, it's the fact that I couldn't even see her muster up anything.
Because she's worried about the meal ticket running out. You don't have no money.
Right.
You don't have no money.
And why would you say that you want Gordon to retire and you don't want him to work? How is he supposed to support the family if he lost all the money, allegedly?
But I guess she needs to get back to work.
And he even said that it was news to him about the divorce. So I was like,
Okay. If you say so.
Yeah.
Well,
then we have Ashley. So they're switching gears. Make sure I don't know what the next scene is. Hold on. Let me turn this over. My bad. Y'all, I'm telling you, this is my hardest season ever. But Robyn, so you see a quick little scene with Robyn on the phone. She's packing, talking to her mom. Then you have Ashley chatting with the nanny, just saying, like, hey, what do you plan on doing with my kids while I'm gone? She's like, well, I don't want to steer too far off from, our regular routine. So we're going to stay at the house. I want to know, would you trust somebody up in your house while you're not there?
If I really trust them, like, if they were looking after my kids.
Yeah, I guess if you can trust a person with your kids, you can trust them.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
And then we have Giselle, who's chatting with Grace about being in charge of her sisters while, she's out of town. And she's like, so what are you going to do if they, try to bring boys in? And Grace was like, I would just say that's none of my business. And I really like Grace. I wish that Giselle could be more like her mother. No, Giselle could be more like her daughter. I mean, really.
Yeah,
mind your business.
And that's a good point you mentioned, because we always say we like to see Giselle with her daughter, so it shows a different side of her, which it does. But I just think it just goes to show that her daughters are more entertaining to watch.
Yeah,
that's really like her daughter's just more entertaining to watch than Giselle.
And they're a lot more likable, maybe because they're children, but I do like her children. I think that they're hilarious. Like you said, they're entertaining. Mm-hmm. I like when they be eating her up, they be getting her ass. And that was another moment where she got. So then we see, it looked like it was shot on a iPhone 5 of the women in the airport. And it seems like they're really cordial. Like, you see all of the women who kind of have beef with each other. They're sitting down together. I'm trying to figure out, did Robyn and Wendy recover? I know that they recovered, but did it stay there as far as their beef?
I think the beef is still ongoing, right? Or maybe go ahead.
I remember Wendy had apologized to Robyn, but Robyn didn't really apologize to Wendy last season, but I don't know if it had been squashed.
I think they're at a stalemate or something. Like they still don't like each other, but they're like, okay, we'll just move forward.
Well, we see Nneka and Wendy, and I forgot who else was there. Robyn and a couple other women. They're just waiting on the airplane. But you were gonna say something.
I don't know. That's all I was said. I think it was at a stalemate.
Yeah, and I think even Nneka might have said that she just was going to treat Wendy like she treats anybody else, which is with respect and something else. And I'm like, okay.
Whatever, okay.
Yeah. My biggest issue with Nneka, because I really don't like her, is that she just came in way too hot.
Like, she tries too hard.
She came off as an opportunist. Even if this story were true, it's like, what does their beef have to do with you and her?
Mm-hmm.
And maybe you could have brought that up a little bit later, but it was just the most hating ass shit I've ever witnessed for a new cast member. And I just immediately don't like you. And yeah, I don't know if she's going to grow on me, because sometimes you'll see, when you see somebody in their first season, you might not like them, Wendy, but then you grow to like them, Wendy. So it's possible.
I felt the same way about Karen. I didn't like her.
Right, Karen too. With the whole, it's my birthday, I should have been sitting in the middle of the table.
I don't really think, though, I honestly don't think that would change for me with Nneka, because I don't want her to be on the show anymore after this. I agree. She's not fun. Again, like you said, because she came on here, so what an agenda. And just instead of coming with, and my husband, well, they did start out with for a little bit, but then it just went fully into the whole shrine issue.
Yeah, it was corny.
Yeah, so it's like, I'm kind of good on her.
Right. All right, I'm trying to think. So, yeah, they're getting together. Austin, Texas, though, really?
Yeah, it's just, you couldn't go to what's that, Aspen or I don't know.
Yeah, Austin, Texas is an up and coming city. I would say that Austin is the next Charlotte, the next Atlanta. Well, Atlanta's been Atlanta for the longest, but as far as people are moving there at higher rates because it's the new city, but I wouldn't really go there for a tourist opportunity.
I don't expect housewives to go to Austin, Texas for a trip.
Why are you hosting a trip to freaking Austin, Texas?
I guess, I guess Michael only gave her enough money for that. And she had to just use it. She had to use it somehow. She's like, okay, well, I think I can afford this trip to Austin, Texas for all these women. Thank you, Michael. Thank you, honey.
What about a Vegas trip? What about a Los Angeles trip? If we're going to do United States trips. But it's you got to think about destinations. We're talking about something beach ocean views.
Lake Tahoe or something.
Yeah, like what is this?
Yeah, just disappointing.
Y'all did not come out of COVID to go to fucking Austin.
Because I can understand them. Like, remember during COVID, they went to Williamsburg. That makes sense because we were in COVID.
And it was cute.
And it was a nice little trip. But this, yeah, like, I expect more.
But we haven't really gotten into where they are going just yet. So maybe, but we're going to get into it a little bit more.
So they arrive at the Austin airport, and Ashley decides that she's going to divide who rides in the car based off an astrological sign. And I think it was, Ashley, Wendy. I forgot. Do you know? It was.
I didn't write it down.
So
the only thing I know
didn't write it down.
Again, the show is draining. But...
So basically, yeah, they divided each other by astrological sign. And we see Candace and Robyn in the car together. And it's very tense within there. And Candace just says, I don't know where to go with Robyn. Like, it just seems like we're not progressing, and it's just weird for me. It's kind of funny. Like, it shows that Candace still is like, I guess has a hope that Robyn and her can be friends again, or at least cordial. But I don't really get that from Robyn. Like, Robyn's attitude really is just stink.
It is stink.
Yeah.
There was something that Candace said we'll talk about later, but I do think that what Robyn and Giselle are doing is very strategic.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that they have a motive with her.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think
like, were you really her friend, Yeah.
I think that Robyn just does whatever Giselle, she reads off of her energy. I think it's a thing of like when I listen to The Breakfast Club and DJ Envy can't come up with a thought by himself without Charlamagne saying something first. Like, it's very, she is the shadow or the echo of Giselle, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So if Giselle says, today I don't like, I don't like Wendy. Robyn's like, oh, okay, I don't like Wendy,
Yeah.
Very monkey see, monkey do. And I don't mean that in a racist way.
Yeah.
It's the same.
Regina George and Gretchen Wieners.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know that's a Mean Girls reference.
But it works in this situation.
It does. Yeah. Is that the one with the curly brown hair? And of course, Regina George.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right, so like I said, they meet at the airport. They finally get to the hotel. They go up to the suite.
Wait, hold up.
What am I missing?
Remember? Okay, so Giselle and Karen are in the car, and Giselle asks Karen how she feels about Robyn, and she explains like a pie example or something.
Oh yes, please explain that because I'm sure you understood it.
I didn't. I thought you were gonna kind of. I thought you were gonna kind of explain it. Basically, she was like, "I cut the pie in half, and like part of it I put in the freezer. I guess because that's still cold and chill. I don't know. It was.
I think that she's saying that she does like Robyn, but they still have a lot of stuff that they need to work on. So it's like the kind of way that she has. Mia for real got a slice in that freezer, that what do you call it? Hypothetical freezer of hers, where it's like, listen, I want to eat the rest of the pie, but right now it's in the freezer.
See, you explained it way better than I did. See, so you got her.
Even Karen couldn't explain what the hell she was trying to tell us. Like, let's be real. So yeah.
Sorry, continue.
And, Giselle was asking her if she even liked Robyn, and that's why she gave her that response. And she said that I do like Robyn. She's like, why don't you tell her that? She's like, I'm not telling her that. And that's when she started talking
Do you believe she actually likes Robyn?
I think that Karen only really genuinely likes herself. I think that Karen's the only person who knows how to clock in and do the job. And she knows how to show up, and she knows that she's there to make a check. And she is probably the only person I feel like has not changed or hasn't, like, she's always had an ego. Don't get me wrong. When I say hasn't changed, meaning like Giselle has changed. While she was always mean girl, she was like fun mean girl. Now she's just a bitch. I'm sorry. Robyn, same thing. Ashley, it definitely has changed. But I think that Karen still understands that if I have an assignment, I'm supposed to clock in, I'm supposed to interact with these ladies. I'm not going to sit here and be mean girl and isolate and not talk to you and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Not saying that she's never done it before, but Karen's really good about coming back. The other women don't know how to come back around. And maybe that has something to do with Karen being an elder, something with old age experience. You know, she's in a different part of her life than the other women are. So it could be something like that too. She knows how to kind of let go of beef. You know, she's had a lot of loss in her life, so she might have an understanding. I'm being deep. Maybe she has an understanding that life is short. I don't know. But Karen is probably the only person I feel like understands the quote unquote assignment, which is I'm here to do a job. We have to interact with each other. So that didn't really answer your question if I think she genuinely likes Robyn. Like I said, I think she likes herself because she still be throwing in disses. You know.
Yeah.
But anyways, so the women finally arrived to the hotel. It's a nice hotel from what I see. I like the color scheme or whatever. But it's not giving Hollywood, Beverly Hills. It's giving Austin, Texas. Okay. And then you're like, well, duh, that's where they are. But y'all know what I mean when I say that. Okay. And they go upstairs, they see the room, they're like, oh my God, it's so great. Candace gets excited because she sees tacos. And one of the ladies asks, and I'm just doing based off of memory, well, are we going to get these rooms as well? And Ashley says, well, the only person that's really getting a suite is actually Robyn, because I know that Robyn's been through a lot this year. Someone on Twitter said this, and I agree. Well, if Robyn, so-called, does not care, and she don't care, and her tagline is, she doesn't care, then maybe she hasn't been going through anything. So why not give that suite to somebody else who's more deserving? I think that with Karen being the elder, she deserves the nice suite. That's just my opinion. What is yours?
Honestly, I usually say the person who actually booked the trip and everything should get the suite.
But there was another one. So who do you think should have gotten a suite after Ashley, who's hosting? Damn show ain't Robyn.
I mean, this would never happen, but I feel like Candace.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because she actually has been through a lot with this group. So
I would say either Candace or Wendy. Because Wendy's been iced out real heavy. Or if I wanted to be nice, maybe Mia. Be like, well, since you're,
for what?
I'm just saying, somebody might be like, well, since you're missing out, here's a little taste of luxury, just one last time.
Okay.
All right, so continue.
So they arrive. So like you said, they eat the food and everything, excited. La da 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 da. And Candace, Karen, and Wendy catch up at the pool. They go out to the pool and sit at the deck and just talk. And Candace asks Wendy about NECA and, how's that situation? And Wendy just says that there is no vested interest with NECA and I. Like, I have no interest in really dealing with her. So then eventually Ashley, NECA, and Giselle arrive. And then Karen brings up, she says that basically we're a group and we notice that there's just been a lot of, tension and strife, specifically when it comes to Candace and Giselle. So she just asks them about the situation. And Candace says that, Karen says that, sorry, I'm all over the place. Candace says that Giselle feels like if she doesn't talk to me, then she can just isolate me and I'll just be out of the group. But bitch, I'm still here. Yeah, but she's on my black ass or whatever is still here. So that's not going to happen.
And then Giselle turns into a Karen and says,
you're not going to... Again, I don't remember verbatim what she said.
Pretty much she's playing the victim card and saying, Candace has said a lot of things that's affected my family. And Candace is like, and you don't think that what you've said has not affected my family, my bonus family, my husband? Like, are you kidding me? And, Giselle is still singing the same tune that her husband... I don't remember about the door being shut now. This was something I felt like was new, but I could be lying. where she says that your husband wanted to go in the room with me and close the door, and I felt uncomfortable.
You brought that situation up to her during cameras when it happened months before when you guys saw each other. This does not come across genuine. It was clear. Like, I don't believe her. I'm sorry. I don't like it. I didn't like the situation.
Yeah.
And what I don't like about Giselle is when she's caught out, she always makes that face, like that strange face, like she doesn't know what is being said. And I also don't believe her when she says that what Candace has affected her and her family. I don't believe that.
I don't. Those girls are so unbothered. They could give a fuck.
What I don't like, again, I keep saying, what I don't like about her is that she continues to throw daggers. But when someone comes back at her, she continues to play victim. And she just, like, you can't keep attacking people and expect not people to react.
Right. I mean, she really is a Karen. I'm sorry. And I'm actually not sorry.
She literally is the common denominator of why these women cannot get along. Like, again...
And they always have beef when it comes to marital, like...
Yeah.
She's been trying to destroy marriages. Let's just keep it real. She tried to destroy Happy Eddie's marriage with Wendy. She tried to destroy the marriage of Monique and Big Boy, as she called him. She's trying to destroy Karen's marriage. And I know this sounds really dramatic.
It made fun of her tax issues.
Right. And it had a whole shirt with hashtags on it because that was classy, bitch. Then she tried to destroy the marriage of Candace. And now, Robyn, sweetie, honey, you're next. And the difference between what she tried to do to the other women and what's going on with Robyn's actual marriage is, bitch, this is actually, like, it feels believable. So you a season late and $1 short.
But again, since it's Robyn, she's not going to do it.
And speaking of Robyn, hopefully I'm not skipping all over, but I do feel like this is the next thing, which is Mia and Robyn weren't with the group right away because they were talking. And Mia is once again... I'm sorry. I know it's dark. It really is. But I just don't believe her. And I think that that's really insensitive to, like, if she's lying, I find that to be really insensitive. And Bravo, you're a network that's associated with NBC. Do we not have anybody that can verify, fact check this story? Like, I just need it to be fact checked because of who's telling the story. And I know that's awful if it were anybody else, but I just feel like the story is just too familiar, too coincidental. And why do you want to talk to Robyn? Well, I know why you want to talk to Robyn, because Robyn actually went through a similar situation. And when Robyn was telling her story, I actually believed her because of the amount, like, she really broke the hell down. She lost an actual friend. It was a friend of Juan's. He was in the wedding. So I would just hate to think that she would make up something. I really hope it's not true that she would do this. So yeah, she shares the story. I really don't have anything to talk about. It's just they talk about it together.
Yeah, same.
Mia tries to cry, she can't, and and Robyn shows sympathy towards her.
That's really it.
She gives a recap about her story. Anyways.
So back at the pool, the ladies again are still talking.
Can I say this too? Speaking of the pool, again, the biggest criticism right now is there is no luxury. Y'all out here holding champagne flutes for your intro or whatever you call it for the show. But look at where this is the pool that y'all are at. It's not and I almost forgot to mention this. Let me go all the way back and tell y'all that when they go in the rooms and they open up the windows, do you think that they're seeing luxurious views? Are they seeing lakefronts, beachfront, oceanfront, whatever you want to call it? No. What do they see out that dingy ass window, Raymond?
Construction.
They're seeing construction. If you want to see construction, come on down to VCU. Come on down to Richmond.
God. It's $3.95. Just
like what?
Yeah. And
so of course when I see them, it's just a brown background. It looks like somebody's backyard.
But it's so sad how they went from like they have gone down in their trips, because remember in the beginning they went to, I think they went to the Bahamas, they went to Portugal. Like, it's just gone down significantly.
They went to Mexico last season.
But that trip was also kind of a mess.
It was, but at least it was Mexico.
And then when they went to Miami last season, and
they weren't even at the beach.
They weren't, and she didn't even have enough rooms for all the women.
Right. Yeah. It's that's how you know the economy really is bad. They're saying that we're in a silent depression right now, and that should be the sign right there.
Yeah. I can't deny that. So they're at the pool and they're continuing to talk, and a lot was going on, so I'm gonna need your help. So they bring up I think, was it Giselle brings up the situation with... Well,
Karen was asking her, she's like, I noticed that you were really quiet during pickleball.
Mm-hmm.
You know, as far as the debate, when it got really heated between, you know, once again, Wendy and Nneka. And so then they bring that up or whatever. And then I believe Giselle might have brought up the Twitter. Not the Twitter. Well, where was that? What was the media source?
I think it was on...
Was it Facebook or Twitter?
I think it was Twitter. I don't know. It was on social media. Whatever.
She brings up the fact that this looks like Instagram, actually. I could be wrong. But when Giselle brings up the fact that she kind of believes it. Actually, I don't know. I might be making this up. But pretty much the whole post that Wendy's mother posted about Mia. And as they're talking about this, Mia and Robyn joins them. And so then Wendy's like, well, I can read you what she said. And mind y'all, once again, her mother's being accused of witchcraft in shrines. So the mother says, well, ugly inside out. Crater face Mia. By the way, Wendy is reading this out loud in front of Mia and the rest of the women. Crater face Mia. A bombastic, ignorant, nonsensical, baseless wannabe CEO troublemaker. You've bitten more than you can chew. You just messed with a wrong Nija, mama bear, baby. Oh yes, Mia, you assaulted my baby, Dr. Wendy. And I don't know how to say this. Inyanga, they sleep trouble, go wake now while they find... Okay, listen, I'm not going to try this. What I do care about is where it says, remember, she who fights and runs away lives to fight another day. To hell with Mia and Peter. Oh, yes, I say Holy Ghost fire on Mia and Peter and thunderous amen. I'm not going to lie to y'all. I got goosebumps when I was reading that. Because, you know, I don't like to be reading stuff when they say the Holy Ghost and stuff. Don't be, Lord, I hope you know that I was just reading a quote.
I think this was blown way out of proportion. And it really annoyed me that we see the other women in Confessors try to act like it was such a big deal. To me, it's just like she's just going off on Mia for getting, for assaulting her daughter. And she's just
as
saying
any black mother would.
And I went to I screenshotted a tweet that basically confirms what I believe, because it's just shout out to, this is from Brandon Flulin. Well, shout out to him. He says, Wendy's mom simply said in so many words that she wished Peter and Mia to go to hell. That has nothing to do with voodoo/shrines. That's simply just telling your foes to pass go. Do not collect $200 and go straight to hell. Stop making it more than what it is. Gizzard neck. And it annoyed me too. And I believe Nneka already knew that. She knows that I think that's also the thing. She knows that Wendy's mom's not going to put her name to a shrine. I
am going to say she shouldn't have said thunderous. That thunderous came off very
I disagree. Well,
I'm just saying, people were saying on Twitter as well, and I'm not going to lie. When she said thunderous, I was like, ooh.
No, I disagree with that, because I think, again, she was just going off. Like, we say a lot of stuff when we just are mad and just go off the table. Like, that's when people say, I'll beat the... out of you. Like, did we really do that? We're just angry. Like, come on.
I'm just saying, I've never heard nobody say a prayer and put thunderous in it, but I'm still,
Lord Jesus, don't let me smack this. Like, come on. Like, people say shit. Sorry, they say stuff like that when they're mad all the time. Like, they don't vocal. Oh Lord, Lord, don't do. Ooh, Lord. Like, okay, I think that's just a word. Like, come on. Like, come on.
I know, but I'm just saying, in a prayer, no one says thunderous.
Oh, I think it was blown out of proportion.
It was, but what I'm saying is,
I have to disagree with you. I'm sorry.
Well, I know we're going to disagree, but what I'm saying is, it doesn't look right for the mother to say things about a thunderous Holy Ghost. Because people are looking at that kind of like this.
Well, would this been different if it was?
Let me read that last
I don't
line
really
again.
agree. Like, I think the only reason why they're saying, I feel like people are worried because, again, the whole narrative about the whole shrine and voodoo thing. But if that was out of the picture, would some people view thunderous as like the threatening thing? I don't think so. I think we're just going.
Think that it doesn't sound right for her to say, "Oh yes, I say Holy Ghost fire on Mia."
Go to hell. Yeah, we say a lot of people say that.
And thunders. I've never heard nobody say thunderous amen.
Well, that's just an added.
Because Mia said, as a response, she said, "So take your thunderous self onto the Holy Ghost fire and repent." But yeah, so I'm just saying, a lot of people on Twitter are kind of like, ooh, that doesn't really sound right. I don't believe that her mother has a shrine. I don't believe her mother is into witchcraft. I think it's a wild accusation to even put on somebody, especially if they're saying like in Nigerian culture, it's a big deal. I don't agree or feel that that's what her mother is doing. I'm just saying that last line makes her look suspect, even though she's not guilty of said crime. It just doesn't sound right. It doesn't make her look good.
I don't agree, but I get it. I think she's just putting a little into it by saying a thunderous amen. I don't think it's as big as people are making it out to be.
Yeah. No, and it's not even people, it's NECA.
Yeah. Honestly, I was kind of lost with the back and forth with them.
Because that's all they do is a bunch of back and forth.
Like the fact they were saying, like that's even like the production had to do like the whole confused looks on the other housewives' face. So they were just going back and forth. On this date, you called in. On that, it's just like I'm like.
Well, then this is when it comes out, though.
Okay.
Which is why, and I'm bringing it full circle from the beginning tweets that I read in the beginning of this episode. So like. Wendy finally says that we don't know each other, but my sister and your in-law were friends and they had a falling out. And so then NECA's looking at her like, no, sweetie, it's more than that. And then she said something to the effect of like, I forgot what the lady's name was, the sister-in-law or cousin-in-law. I can't get it straight for what she was, but they were saying that she was at the sip and see for her daughter. And then of course production shows unseen footage, and guess who's there?
The sister-in-law, right?
Yeah. And so it makes Wendy look bad because Wendy, she does this thing where she kind of shifts her body language a little bit. What I don't understand is why Wendy isn't being more open about the whole story, or why she might have told a partial truth to begin with. Because NECA is very she's very insistent, like this is what happened, this is what the case is, why are you running? I want to know, why is Wendy running away from it, genuinely?
I think like Wendy did say I think Wendy said her reasons in a way when she was saying like when she said that the fact that you get on here as a fellow Ibu and to put this out here as a way
you think
to...
she just didn't want it out there because she didn't want them beefing on camera?
I think she knew that NECA was probably coming on here with other intentions, which is why she didn't really want to associate with her to begin with. Like you just explained in the beginning of the show about the text that she explained, how she Nneka was trying to reach out, was it to her sister or her sister-in-law, whatever, to get on the show, or they were connecting her. The show was interested in her to get on the show, and I guess through Wendy to make that connection, and she wanted anything to do with it.
And the women were accusing Wendy of being a jealous individual, and even production showed like flashbacks of like when Mia first got on the show and asking her about her surgery and stuff. And
sorry, go ahead.
They were saying they knew that that Wendy would hate not being the only Nigerian woman on there.
I mean, that could be. But I also think, based on what we just see, there was clear motive in like this whole thing. The fact that she's came on there very strong about these allegations about the shrine, like, I think the motive, and just from what I see, is kind of clear. If it was me, I wouldn't. If I was Wendy, I wouldn't want to really mess with her. You're not going to use me to get on the show and then to also bring me down with these type of allegations to possibly get me off the show, and possibly work in conjunction with the GEBs as well. That's my own theory, but I'm just saying, like, we all know this group is divided, and they're gonna try to isolate certain housewives so some of them can be off the show.
Right.
I wouldn't be shocked. So yes, Wendy is not telling the whole truth. But I also think she just doesn't want to deal with Nneka. So she's just kind of like, ignoring her.
And of course they agree to disagree. And then that was the end of that. Let's get into it. Winners and losers.
I have no winners.
Yeah. I have the same.
I have 5 losers.
You go with your losers first.
Okay. So 4 of them are people, and the last one is like a topic. So Nneka, for I think reason we have constantly explained on here. Ashley for starting the whole thing and also trying to be innocent, knowing, in terms of, believing this, just to start shit. Gizelle, because it's Gizelle. And Mia for being dumb. I know that sounds harsh, but come on. You're sitting up here saying that you believe Nneka because she's smart and she's a lawyer. You're also the same one that is not really foretelling about your life. I'm not. Mia is just not. Nah. Gizelle, again, for the fact that she believes everything. Out
of beef.
Yeah, out of beef. And again, she always wants to play victim, and she chooses, because it's a choice, she chooses not to take accountability, even though she's the one that has started mess with the majority of women on this cast. She's the common denominator.
It was really wild that she said that she didn't think that Nneka would come on the show just to make up something out of nowhere.
When you do the same thing,
girl, stop.
You do the same thing to deflect from your own life because you have nothing going on. Like, that's what she does. She has nothing going on. She's boring. Like, what has she done? This season has started. What has Gizelle done that's been like, ooh?
And if you notice, we saw that man one time, ain't seen him since.
Exactly. We're episode 5. And granted, it's probably 18 episodes, but whatever.
We've seen Juan more times than we've seen that man.
And then Ashley, again, for starting this whole stuff and then trying to act innocent. And I'm really mad that no one is calling her out. Why?
I wonder how the reunion is going to go.
I don't know. It's just... And also, the last part, my last loser, just opulence. Like we've discussed this entire episode, you're taking the women on a trip to Austin 1. They're at a hotel with a construction site as a view too. And like, it's Austin, like, which I just said, but like,
yeah.
This is just not supposed to be a house. We watch the show. Yeah, we relate to them on the personality. You can do that, but we don't want to relate to them on the income. That's the point.
Shit, you and I can book a trip to Austin next weekend. The fuck?
So yeah, it's like, I mean, compared to the other Housewives shows, I feel like Potomac is definitely like the worst when it comes to showcasing that. And I don't watch all the other ones, but I know that they show more like, wealth, if that makes sense, or the appearance of it. So, yeah, Potomac, they're a loser when it comes to opulence. I don't want upper middle class stuff. And again, I'm not even upper middle class. I would like to be, but again, I'm not on the show about housewives, so I don't expect that,
Well, my losers are Chelsea Stevens, co-executive producer, Jazz Ross, the post-associate producer, let me see. We have Eric D. Fuller, who's a supervising producer, executive producer, co-executive producer. Let's see. I'm just going off of this IMDb page. Is this Lily or Lily? Ooh, excuse me. Lily Gelfand, she's a junior story producer. We have Courtney Snipes, another associate producer and field producer. Cassie Berman, she hasn't been on there since 2021. Who else? George Newby, another associate producer. Lauren L. Esklin, whatever her name is, she's an executive producer. I'm sure I'm missing some people, but Petta Pips, she's a consulting producer and a coordinating producer. Nora Devon, executive producer. Lorraine Houghton Lawson, Glenda Hirsch, and another executive producer. Stephen Weinstock. And of course, I know I'm missing, Nick Prescott, another co-executive producer. Lizzie Spratt, I'm not done, co-executive producer. And we got Jackie Herbert, co-executive producer. I know I'm probably missing. We have Jasmine Alston, a segment producer. She only did one episode. Levi Clark only did one episode for an associate producer. Loran Fluker, Jackie Herbert. I think I'm already saying some of these names. Arlen Katz. I could just James Lee, Shanta Mays, Patrick Donald. These are field producers, co-executive producers. Katie Murphy, Manny Robinson, Adriana Sanchez, and I don't know how to say his name, Rabdith Such. And then, of course, last but never least, Andy freaking Cohen.
That was...
Yeah, I went to the IMDb page. Y'all have really failed us as viewers. I cannot believe that I sat here and wasted all this time, all these years, all these hours. Some seasons I watched more than once because I liked the show so much. I cannot believe that I invested so much time into these shows, and this is what we're doing. Like, y'all are not serious right now. You're not gonna say that y'all sat in there, produced these shows, and said, "Yep, that's it. This is gonna be a good season. This is the best season we've had so far." We're not even in season 10. Season 10 is when people are like at their flyest when it comes to the show. Y'all really freaking tried it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, just anybody who has any involvement with the Real Housewives of Potomac, I would say all of y'all are my losers. There's no winners. Matter of fact, I'm the winner because I can't believe that I've had the attention span to stay loyal and continue to watch this damn show. The audience are the winners. And as far as how I rate this episode, I'm going to give it a raggedy ass 3 because this show is raggedy. The location was raggedy. The subject matter is raggedy. The things that you think that we're supposed to believe is freaking raggedy. That storyline for Mia, raggedy. The storyline with Giselle, raggedy. The fact that we even call these things storylines, raggedy. Because for real, we should just be able to watch the show and y'all just record shit how it's going. The beef that y'all have, raggedy. Robyn, raggedy. NECA, raggedy. Just raggedy ass show. How would you rate the show?
I gave it a 3.5 out of 10.
The fact that you even gave him a 0.5, you raggedy. No, I'm kidding.
It's still within the threes. Yeah, it's just, I can't disagree with anything you said. You really hit the nail on everything.
Yeah.
So,
I just do better. Where does the show go from here? Genuinely.
That's the thing.
I don't think they need a recast. I hate when they talk about shakeups. We need a recast, shakeup. No, throw the whole show away. I'm sorry, but it's over. Give us Real Housewives of DC. And I know that DC, that is where the money is, where the money resides. Hopefully it can be people who aren't necessarily associated with politics, but I'm sure you can find, or maybe it is. Maybe these are like retired people from politics and they no longer plan on going back into, government jobs or anything. But let's do the Real Housewives of DC, District of Columbia.
That's the thing, though. Like, I think it's hard to cast a reality show in the DMV because, like, people who are rich or wealthy don't want to showcase their lives like that on a reality TV show. Like, I think again, I'm not rich, but I'm assuming just growing up here, living here, like, people who are, like, really well off really are not gonna, they don't seem like really showcase it like that. This isn't like Atlanta where it's very celebrity assessed, or like Beverly Hills where it's the same thing as our fame, or New York where it's like the influencer flashlight. Like, it's not that.
DC does have influencers though.
They do, but like in terms of the type of people they want on this show, like a Housewives type of show, they're not really gonna get it. You're gonna get the people like we have right now. I think it's really hard for them to cast.
If they can do a New Jersey show, I think they can do.
But it's New Jersey though. Like, in no shade, but it's New Jersey. Like, who cares about New Jersey? I'm sorry.
But New Jersey's been on for seasons. Like, I mean, Teresa, whatever her name is.
But that was based around a family.
That's what I'm saying. Maybe have it based around a family. I think that it could work. It could work. Because I do think that people, if you can afford to live in DC, you have money. Well, depending on what part of DC.
Yeah.
But,
I know
they're not going to be like, well, we're on the metro today. I'm on my way to, I think it's possible.
I just think it's very difficult. Like, I think it's difficult to have a reality show here, like, that's related to, like, housewives, like, wealth type stuff. I do.
But I do think that there's a lot of wealth and a lot of old money in DC, though.
But again, why would they want to be on the Housewives? Most of the people on Housewives are new money. And again, all of it is BS, but I'm just saying, like, they're not, I think it's going to be hard. Like, for example, you could do a Married to Medicine DC. That makes sense because, again, it's professionals. It's about professionals. But for the Housewives, I just think it'll be more difficult to do.
And I think they had one of DC, didn't they? But did they cancel it?
Oh, I don't know.
I feel like they did have one of DC and canceled it. Yeah. This show's raggedy. It should be called The Real Housewives of Raggedy Potomac. Like, it's just not fun anymore. I wish that Katie, I think I bring up Katie like at least once every episode. I'm just so sad I'm happy for her, but sad for her. Like, I'm sad that her life has become her reality as far as, like, addiction, which is a really big struggle. But I am proud of her for trying to overcome it, for fighting it. You know what I'm saying? But I know that we will never get Katie again because she's battling something right now. And you can tell that she really wants to be her most healthy. And honestly, when I think about the women who were of that, I don't know, who just had that reputation of being, like, rich and was able to show us what a luxurious lifestyle really is in the Potomac area, they're not on the show anymore. Charisse, may she be boring, but she showed us what a luxurious lifestyle looks like, because her husband was an ex-basketball player and he was a coach, and so we got to see her with the champagne room. Her home was humongous. We saw it from Charisse. We saw it from Monique, who had a humongous home as well. And it was made out of brick. Okay, everybody knows brick houses are, like, super duper expensive. This bitch had a bird for a pet. Okay. Then we had Katie. Now, Katie didn't show us luxury as far as, like, her home, because Andrew, her first boyfriend that was on that show, he didn't really have not her first boyfriend. It was the only man we saw on the show, but it was, like, no super luxurious home. But she showed us charity, even though she had, like, an unrealistic goal. But, like, we saw her trying to, like, brush shoulders with, like, the socialites of DC.
And she does come from, like, I guess, money, like, on both sides of her family.
Yes. And you remember we saw that she was featured, like, in a magazine, like the local magazine and stuff like that. So I think that unless I'm missing somebody else, which I could be, I think that those were the women that showed us that different side.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Karen a little bit, but you know, people got on her for having the white intercom or the outdated kitchen.
Yeah. Wow.
You got any final thoughts?
All I have to say is, well, that wraps up this episode of Messy RealiTea Breakdown, the podcast where we break down our favorite reality shows in the name of fun, shade, and a splash of messiness. Follow us on IG at Messy RealiTea, that's CEA Breakdown. Also subscribe to our podcast on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Also rate as well. It helps us grow. And also catch us on YouTube. We post our podcast episodes on YouTube, so you can also listen to us there. So with that further ado, or lastly, catch you next time.
Bye.